Hello, everybody, and welcome to Motley Mix episode 5. Where we go? 5. We're live with 5 today. Can't believe it's 5th episode already. Feels like just yesterday we were falling around the place. Now it's today, and we're still falling around the place. Andre, Ina,
Yolandi and Niels again.
Okay, so yeah, we've been going from SA to Cambodia, and we have packed bags, we have been shocked, we have had experiences. Last week we were talking about places, and this week we thought we would show you some photos and talk about places as well. Still carrying on from last week that we didn't get to.
Yes. I just want to say as well, a lot of you have noticed that on our Facebook page, Motley Mix 2020, there are some photos in regards with the video that we had last week, Sunday. So you can see some photos of interior of the apartments, both Khmer and Western apartments as well. And there are some overall photos of pagodas and so on. So please go onto Facebook at the Motley Mix. Just give it a thumbs up, and I'm glad we're here again. We're back again.
Yeah, thanks to Yolandi for all the hard work there. Really appreciate it. I think there's a couple of people who've appreciated, who've actually gone on there and looked at that. So yeah, if you were left it up to us guys, no, wouldn't have done. This way, Yolandi, thank you very much. I'll give you a thumbs up as well for all the hard work and putting it all together as well. It is absolutely stunning, and I know I've seen a lot of likes and a lot of people going through there as well to see the different apartments and that. So guys, are we going to start on photos, or are we just going to chat about the buildings and that still, or what?
I think showing the people the photos shows interest as well. So I think go ahead with the photos, and we can talk a little bit about that, showing them what Cambodia and Phnom Penh has to offer.
Okay, let's take a look. We can start off with, let's get to this one, yeah. Whammo. Have we got it? Yes. That one is basically looking at a street. Yolandi, I think you guys know that street better than what we know that street. And it's a basic street, a main road and a side road in Cambodia.
Yeah, so that is actually the street in front of our apartment. So it is one of the busier streets, but yeah, we've still got a spectacular view from there. A lot of interesting stuff happening in the streets. That is a complete story for another day, all the stuff we've seen happening up and down the street. So yeah, big sports. Yeah, there's a bit of foliage there. There's a little bit of trees, but generally it is a scarce commodity in the city center. So yeah, it is a concrete and steel jungle mostly out here.
It's actually a great point that you make there, Niels. It is a concrete jungle. There's very little of what you've seen, the foliage and that there. And yeah, subject to any popular belief, there are tar roads in Cambodia. And as you can see, pretty much a lot of buildings in the distance. And there's a lot on top of each other. It's very compact, don't you guys think?
Yeah, it's very compact.
I just want to explain, if everyone looks at the photo, you'll see a little bit to the back of the photo. There's a few buildings that look similar, the big buildings in the back. That is estate, like you will get midstream estate in South Africa. So they've got like a little school going in the estate, some housing. Yes, if you can just go back, you'll see it's like 3 or 4 similar buildings in the middle of the photo currently. So there is literally like a few supermarkets there. There's a travel agency, a little designer clothing store, dressmaking. So it's like a little midstream estate in Cambodia.
Nice.
Yeah, it's things on, once again, on top of each other, but everything there.
Yes.
Let's take a look at the other photos. There's the same one again. I don't know if you want to explain.
While we're stuck on that photo, I just want to tell everyone, as you can see, we've got some clouds up in the sky there, showing a little sign of it's going to be raining soon. We had some rain today, and when we were busy clothing shopping, clothes shopping today, and we went to a store quite near where the photo is, and it rained. Just to give you guys an idea, if it's cloudy in Phnom Penh, as you can see on the photo, you can still expect temperatures of around 34, 35 degrees. It's still really hot and very humid. So it does look all nice and cool down, but as an example on the photo, it is not as cool down as it looks.
Yeah, no, I must agree there. Aircon is essential even when there are clouds in the sky. Yes, so true what Ilan is saying there. Cloud and shade does not mean coolness over here at all. It's still heat, and it's blistering. It's blistering. And what makes it worse, don't you guys think, especially if there are clouds in the sky, is the fact that it creates more humidity. If there's water and humidity is thicker, it's almost hotter when it's overcast or cloudy.
Definitely.
It is. Especially when it's finished raining. Normally when the rain is over and everything is wet, you can actually feel the humidity even more because it's wet and it is so hot and so humid. So yes, it is totally different to what you're used to in South Africa. When it rains, it's nice and it's cool and it's fresh. This side, you still die of the heat.
Yes, definitely.
And something else that happens with the rain is we once again experienced it today when Niels and was it Devon, our very good supporter Devon, who was with us in the tuk-tuk today, and it started to rain heavily, and which means that the water starts going down the drains start filling up. And you know what? 3 gentlemen in the back of a tuk-tuk suddenly start looking at each other going, who has not been gentlemanly? That was not necessary. And it's you know what? Everyone starts just denying it back there. And no, it's actually, we were perfect gentlemen at the back of the tuk-tuk. It's what comes up from the drains all of a sudden when it rains and the drains come up. Everything that went down must come up, and yes, it does come up with a waft. I don't know if you've experienced that before, but
Yep. All the time when it rains. It's quite hectic.
right, moving on. That is also beautiful. Pick down your road as well, looking to the right. And yeah, as you can see, it's not all that looks like a mash of things. There's pretty much your main road and your business areas going down that main road, and once again, high-rise buildings and that as well. Not so much over there, but yes, it's very much the business area. So it's not how should I say? It's not a hermit town.
I just want to add, if like last week we talked about the schools being part of a different building. In the current photo, you can see the yellowish wall on the side with the little dark maroon banner that is on the side there. That is actually a school next to our apartment. So just to give the people a general idea of how the schools actually are literally next to the housing. It's part of one building. So our building in our apartment is the front side of the building, and then as you can see in the zoomed in part, that is actually the school next to our building, but we share the same building as well. So it is, but we share a different segment, but the same building.
Wow, yeah, I'm actually looking at it now.
Like Andre mentioned, the buildings are fairly on top of one another, and you can actually, at some buildings, you would see the steel that they place into the concrete actually sticking out, and that is purposely done for.
I think we're having a little bit of a a stop there. Let's just see.
What? Sorry, I was trying to see if I could find buildings with steel sticking out for Niels, who he was talking about. Are you guys there? No. Okay, we've taken a bit of a freeze or breeze or what. But yes, as Niels was saying, when the buildings are built and sometimes completed, on the side of the buildings, you will actually see the metal rods and that still sticking out of the buildings as such. And it's genuinely left there for a reason. You know, it's when you're going to build on, you would build on the next building straight on next to the next one. As you can see in the photo, as Ilandi was saying, down the road, a school, you're not looking for a, there we go, they'll be back soon, I'm sure. But you're not looking for a rugby field, you're not looking for a swimming pool, you're not looking for cricket fields. A school is like, as you can see in the photo, a building next to the building next to the building. Yes, the post office, there's the bank, there's the school, there's the home affairs, there's the whatever building's next. It's just building on building on building. There's the bank, you know, and the school is just one of those buildings that add up as well. And as you can see down there, it's very much all in a day's work. The roads, pretty good on the main road, so there is decent infrastructure. There are roads and infrastructures that are more, how should I say, compact or on top. We'll actually get across there as well. You'll find that if you go further out, you might find a little bit more suburban area, but absolutely nothing to what you would find in a South Africa, dare I add, an Australia, New Zealand type of world, where there are big yards with houses on the yard with huge grass yards and dogs and that running around. Yeah, they have pets and that as well. However, they are subject to very, very small properties, and most of them don't have a yard as such.
Yeah, they build up.
Yeah, everything tends to go up. It's very narrow, and you'll actually see in pictures as we go along. Everything's very narrow and up, and your bottom part, as you saw in the previous photo, I don't know if I can actually get to that. In the bottom part of the photo, I don't know if this arrow is coming out on the photo. My mouse shouldn't, but let me try and zoom it then and say to you, those stores and that there have got a shop at the bottom, but they have living areas at the top. They have, let me try and zoom a little bit more. I don't want to try and overdo it, but you'll see that mostly the shops at the bottom have living area on top of them as such. Okay, what we'll do is go over to, yeah, that was the street. And yeah, you've got all your different businesses in one. What is that? There's a bank, there's a clinic, there's a school, and your street. This is actually very strange to see more cars than scooters. Let's see, okay, right, welcome back. Didn't know what to talk about eventually. Now, I've just been talking about the fact that, as you'd mentioned, that there was buildings and the school is just part of your building, that you know, there's the bank, there's the post office, there's the school, there's the library.
We're back.
Yeah, welcome back. So yeah, Niels, you were talking about the buildings with the cables out the side of the building.
Niels?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, guys. So sorry, before we got disconnected. Yeah, so actually, some of the buildings you would see the steel that goes into the concrete sticking out the sides of the building, and that is literally left in place. So when they're building the next building, they can just add on to that and build the next building exactly the same height and everything. So they build it with the purpose of having another building built right next to it.
And then, as I was also saying, while you guys were on a smoke break over there, places seem to be narrow and up. You don't really get anything going this way as much as what you have it going that way. And they're on top of each other, hence the reason that wires and that are left out. Talking about wires, there's a lovely, lovely picture of the same shot almost from your apartment. What is that stripe down the side, down the middle there? It's come across in all the photos. You got this like line. You got a crack in the camera there, Jules? Landy? Okay.
That is a cable.
A cable. They usually, nothing here is actually underground and lined through. So you want internet or something like that, they'll hook you up from the pole and just push it to the apartment above you. And
unfortunately not. It's part of the electric cable that comes from the top of our apartment building across the big road to the other side.
Wow. Even better. Wow. You need electricity up there? Don't worry, we'll just wind it up there for you, buddy. Yeah, hopefully your neighbors don't hate you and cut it every now and again. Okay, let's carry on a little bit more of what's happening. Okay, as we were talking about Niels, I think this is your forte as well there. I don't want to say township area, more this is what you would call property.
Guys, we're having another technical difficulty.
Okay. A suburban area. I don't know if you want to talk about the housing picture there. Okay, the houses there are very closely built, but as I said, it is up. You will see that the houses there are like about 2 or 3 levels. They're very narrow with each other. These two are actually very nice. They're pretty colors. It has a lower level and basically your mid-level, and then your upper level, which is often a balcony or an open area, as you can see. These are got very cute little rooftop balconies in that. A few little plants in that outside, but as you can see, yard is non-existent to limited. If you move away from city center, you would probably find places with a little bit more yard. And naturally in complexes where it is very, very expensive, either it's normal and we're just poor, or it's very, very expensive spots as such, is where you would find maybe a little bit more of a house. But I think especially in Cambodia, you don't have rich people with huge amount of mansions. They're losing Nielsen again. Sorry about that, guys. You don't have rich people with huge amounts of mansions, although you do find big mansions. But even when you do find it, almost the whole yard is built up from of house. But fairly wealthy or well-off people usually have an apartment and decent apartments or something to that effect. More expensive apartments. Ilandi was telling us about an apartment where she goes to do tutoring, and it's really, really cool. But they even have what you would call a turn down service. So, you know, phone home, please turn down for me tonight, and you come home and your bed and that's turned down for you. Pretty much expensive. I think that she said, and I'll confirm with her when she comes on again, $2,500 to $3,000 a month. These are the apartments and that which are probably your preferable living areas for maybe your wealthier people as such. No one really actually goes for the suburban yard type of thing. And even when you have a big house, it's usually filled with, I should say, it's filled with building. Right, another one over there. That's exactly the two little houses on the left-hand side that we've just taken from the front. On the right-hand side, you'll actually see that's Nielsen I standing there. And this is the road, and that's all your houses on left and right. Left and right are all just houses. You'll actually, I don't know if you can note this, I'll try and zoom into this a bit, there is a bit of a little business on that house over there at the bottom that I'm actually looking at the moment with the little covering coming down. There is a little bit of a business there. And if you look on the right, one of these has a business. There's no big things like business right or no business right. Here on the right-hand side are Nielsen, myself, and the gentleman there is the gentleman from the business as such. So yes, this is what your almost living areas would look like that are not, I wouldn't say it's your perfectly well-off people, but I wouldn't say it's your poverty-stricken people either. It is basically your everydayers. This is your possibly your middle class, and as you can see on the left and the right-hand side, you will find that, there we go, welcome back. You will find that the houses all consist of about 3 levels with a bottom part, which you can use as a parking area or usually a garage area, or sometimes you can make it as a lounge area. Your central part, which is your rooms and room areas, usually your sleeping area, and then your top part, which is the balcony area or rooftop terrace area, and that as well. Some are covered and have rooms as well, which you could sleep in. It really, really helps to have a lot of windows in an open area because it gets so hot, as Ilandi mentioned earlier. Are you guys able to hear us?
Yes, we are. Sorry, I think they're working on the connections downstairs in the apartment building. So the phones and the Wi-Fi went up at the same time. But we are.
No worries. I don't know if you wanted to add to these pictures a little bit as well while you were about it. I was just talking about the fact of the housing, that there's no yards and nothing big in the suburbs. And this is basically what your middle class housing looks like, built up three tiers. And I was talking about how pretty wealthy people don't even really have big houses with yards. If they have a mansion, it's built the whole yard full, and that the wealthier usually just end up going for a rather expensive apartment like the one that you tutor at, who even has a turn down service, which is what, $2,500-3,000 a month. And I said, yeah. I don't know if that's wealthy or if we just poor, but no, yeah. But then, yeah, and then I don't know if you want to add to this part. There's the cables that we don't run underground cables here very much. So I think in an SA and places, all those cables that you see in the sky there would probably be underground.
Yes, definitely.
And then, as I was saying, most of those are houses, but there are some businesses. Something that I actually want to just zoom in on and show you is, voila, if you will find in a lot of businesses and a lot of houses, this little, I don't know what it looks like on the shot at the moment, this little golden mini pagoda. If you're hungry, you can walk past one of these. There should be bread and tea or cool drink or whatever put on there, and you can help yourself. You will die afterwards, though, because you will go to hell. No, I'm kidding. I'm just joking. Please don't somebody take me seriously there. I don't know, a little bit of help from you guys' side there. It is like a little mini altar or something like that.
It's like an offering space.
Yeah, you kill your dog there. No, I'm kidding. No, don't talk to me about that. You go for it.
I'll just say a small little bit of background. So most of Cambodian people are Buddhism or believe in Buddha. So they have the religion of Buddhism, and they have these small houses in front of the apartments where each morning they go and they offer their food or their wine or their drink or whatever to start their day in a good and positive, blessed way. So instead of like for a Christian religion and a lot of different religions, I know Muslims as well, we used to do a prayer in the morning. So they offer something and do their prayer as well. And you will see that they always have some type of scent that's lighted, or candle with a scent as well. So that's the way in Cambodia how the Buddhist people practice out the religion.
Yes.
Yeah, that's basically, and then their offerings. Please don't take them seriously. Nothing gets killed there. It's offerings of they would put food and drink and anything like that. Kentucky would have pieces of Kentucky out there. I know it's a waste. No, it's not a waste for them, but it's let's not go further, Andre. They put food and drinks, and I know now during the time of Chumben coming up, they put money, and a lot of people go and buy the counterfeit money to put there. We found a lot of people talking about Chumben and that, and the start of that. I don't know if it's related or something, but we've had a lot of kids off school, and they say, like, sending through letters going, please excuse so and so and so, and please excuse so and so and so. We're going tomb sweeping. And I think, hanging for next week, probably. We're going to do a show on the public holiday, the 3-day public holiday of Chumben. Am I saying it correctly, Chumben? Huh? Yeah, coming up, and I think we'll do a little bit of research, and then we'll be able to tell you a little bit more about what Chumben is and where it comes from and what they do during Chumben as such. Right, let's carry on to our next shot. Okay, this one is just to show that there are or is civilization. You know what? It isn't just all closed up. I mean, there is grass in the middle of a dual highway. This one's just about going over the bridge, and there's big advertising signs and that all over the place as well. And yes, there's a little side curb to the road as well. So it's not a primitive area. I don't know what you guys think, but it's not a primitive place. Cambodia is not primitive. It might be third world developing country as such, and only put back due to the devastation it had pre-1980, which it's had to recover from. But it's definitely not a primitive country, if I want to put it that way.
Yeah.
Sorry, Niels.
Go, Niels.
Sorry. Yeah. Andre, like you just said, and we said last week as well, it is a third world country, but it's developing, and I must say, I think it's pretty impressive what they are doing and what they're achieving in the little time they actually had to rebuild everything. If you look at that photo of the bridge, like that bridge, for instance, there's so many motorcycles here that the sidewalk is actually, there's a small part of sidewalk, and then just past the curve, that is actually a motorcycle lane going over the bridge, so that the motorcycles are out of the way of the cars, because cars tend to be faster over the bridge, because it's got a little hump in it, the bridge. You go uphill and down on the other side, and motorcycles can't to the one small little motorcycles can't always do it as fast. So they even took that safety precaution in the roads to keep everybody safe. So third world country still, but definitely developing at a massive rate, and with a lot of innovation. Obviously, they take a look around the world and see what the rest of the world is doing, and innovating from that and trying their own stuff as well.
Definitely. And there you can see it as well. I did change the picture, but I changed the picture to show more clearly what you were explaining, the little side road, which the scooters that go on. That is a Ferrari F1 2400 GTX ASTB turbocharged chaser.
Baja. Don't forget Baja.
More commonly known as the local tuk-tuk.
Taxi. Local taxi.
Yeah, that's what most locals and most foreigners get to go around in.
Yes. It's like it's a small. It's not very big. It's like a 3-wheeler, and the driver is in the front, and then there is space for about 2 to 3 people at the back. And like we spoke about previously, we used when we were landing at the airport, and everybody needs to download Grab or Pass app. And this is how you book these guys. If you need a tuk-tuk, you book it through Grab or Pass app, and they will pick you up at your location and drop you at the location you want to go to.
Yes.
You
So
want
I just want to say, last week we did discuss that you get the different sizes. So we will be. This one is the smallest one that is not a motorcycle that you are able to order when you want to travel. This is the smaller for one person. You can either get a motorbike where someone drives it and you sit in the back, or you can get an actual tuk-tuk. There you can see it's different colors as well. You get some of them in red, some of them in blue, yellow, white, mostly white. But there's some of them's really like pimped up. I don't know if you guys have seen some pimped up ones.
No, those are pumped up. There's 2 pumps in a tuk-tuk. Yeah, no. Go for it.
So these tuk-tuks are very popular here. I think likewise in India. We even saw some companies in South Africa taking off with it, trying to run a taxi service using these tuk-tuks. And I think the reason why they're so effective, most of these tuk-tuks do come from India as well. So it's the exact same ones you actually find in India. So I think what makes them so effective is they actually run off LPG gas. It's got a little switch at the driver's controls. So he would just press a switch and it'll be either using LPG, which is liquid petroleum gas, like the normal, your KDAC bottle of gas. So that same gas, and then it can run off unleaded fuel as well. So yeah, it's quite versatile, and the gas here is extremely cheap in comparison to fuel prices. I think it's a little less than half the price per liter than fuel actually is. So yeah, that is the cause why, or the reason why it's such a popular means of travel over here.
Yeah. I have another picture that I keep on skipping over. Yes, they do have ambulances here. I'll try and zoom in there because I was actually in a tuk-tuk when I tried to take this photo, but there we go. This is our local ambulance man, which I think has a very challenging time on the road. This road is open. Usually nobody moves out the way for these poor guys. And yet we have buses on the other side. And then, oh, crumbs, what have I done?
That's okay.
Sorry.
While you're busy doing the photos, I just want to say as well, not all of the ambulances in Phnom Penh actually looks like an ambulance. There's some 3-wheeler tuk-tuk little trucks that they converted into ambulances. So it's a 3-wheeler like the tuk-tuk, but it is a bigger version of it. So they converted that, and you can also see a lot of Prados or Highlanders, and what is the other one? Lexus, the Lexus SUV that they converted into ambulances as well. So the ambulance, the actual ambulance, which we know in South Africa as an ambulance, is actually starting to pick up now. Before, when we just got here, seeing one of those, we're like on the scare side. You would rather see a car that is converted into an ambulance. But now Phnom Penh is getting up to date as well with getting the big, what we know as ambulances back in South Africa. They're getting the big vehicles as well.
Yeah, I'm going to skip over this one. This is just 2 local lovelies in the tuk-tuk. And then This one is just basically, if you actually take a look, see, it is actually a beautiful city on the river. That is Phnom Penh. Your most popular landmark, for lack of a better word, sorry, is the Vatanak Tower there on the right-hand side. That sort of glass silver building is supposed to have been in the shape of a dragon. But we will bring you better and more photos of specific places as we go along. Change up there a bit. And there, I must say, is pretty spectacular. Lundy, that's a photo you sent in. That's one of the boats on the river, and you can actually hire these boats to go out onto the river, get a couple of people. They're not too expensive. I think it's about $50 on the hour. So if you have about 10 people out together, it's $5 each. 20 people, it's $2.50 each that you can get together, and you can go and barbecue. Sometimes you can just go for a couple of drinks, cruise, or something like that, and it's actually quite pleasant.
Yeah, I just saying, connecting the two photos. Sorry, Ina. The previous photo of the river that you showed everyone on the live, that is the same river that the boats are actually in. It's the same river. It's just a little bit down in the river near the riverside area, which is also a big tourist attraction in Cambodia. Yes.
You want to say? Right, yeah, and there we go. Looks beautiful. There's a lot of lighting there. Lighting. Sorry, wine getting to me. No. And there's another local on a motorcycle over there. He's looking very happy.
Oh, Niels.
Niels.
You know that guy, Niels?
Yes, I do.
Is it your twin brother?
He was very excited having some wheels underneath him for a change, because him personally, he's not a big fan of tuk-tuks. They tend to stray off the road sometimes and get you a little bit lost and on your nerves before they actually get you to your location. So doesn't happen all too often, but it does happen. So generally, I prefer jumping on a motorbike and getting myself to where I need to be.
Nice.
Those are nice, zippy little chaps as well. Yeah, well done, Niels. There we go. And yeah, you thought if you were in South Africa and you moved to Cambodia, you will miss the taxi van. They don't really run through town so much. I think these guys just do between the provinces, if I'm correct, guys.
Yes, they mostly stop at the markets near nighttime, and then the locals in Phnom Penh bring fruits and vegetables and some appliances, whatever they wanted to send to specific provinces, and they fill in a little form. They pack everything in the back of the van, and then the taxi is used as a transport method between the provinces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're not so much in town. The tuk-tuks are basically a town transport. So no, it's not like SA. They
Something else also that you would see when they do travel with these vans is they will put a whole scooter on the back where you open at the back. They will tie it on there, and there they go. So they pack it to the limit sometimes when they go down to the provinces, but it's quite interesting to see.
Okay, moving on swiftly. I've got quite a few of these photos here to actually just try and show you the different transports and have us. There's tuk-tuks in that as well. This is a circle, and it was quite interesting to see the different vehicles that come around a circle. So where you are used to transporting things on a truck or loading anything that needs to be transported on a truck, it is it's no abnormal sight or funny sight to find one of these little 125, 110, or I don't know what CC, Niels, you'll know it better than what I do, motorcycles dragging a massive trailer And this one is not loaded, but they can load them pretty effectively, if I can put it diplomatically.
Yeah, Andre, you hit it on the head there. It is usually 110cc or 125cc motorcycle, so they fit a bracket onto the back seat of the motorbike, which is where the pillion seat. They would fit a bracket that actually houses the stub axle, and that trailer hooks up to that stub axle with a bearing type of swivel pin, so they can actually turn it comfortably. It isn't like it's stuck in a straight line. They can turn the motorcycle, and it can actually jackknife and move around a bit. Yeah, as far as those trailers can go, as for the bigger SUVs and bigger pickup trucks, usually has a towing capacity of 3.5 tons. I think there is Honda Dreams here that can exceed that by way more and actually still keep on moving.
Proven ability. What else we got? Yeah, just another, I don't know if anyone wanted to add in, it was just a beautiful picture of a wonderful assortment of transport where we have a car, a tuk-tuk, a scooter, as well as the sort of, truck scooter, removal scooter.
I just want to add as well, the scooters, or as in Cambodia they call it motorbikes, that you find here is not typically the scooters you will find in South Africa. It's the same brands, it's Suzuki, Honda, Yamaha, but the make or the model is completely different. You get a scooter called a Zoomer here as well. I think it's Honda. It's a Honda Zoomer.
Yeah.
Something you can't find in South Africa. The Honda Dream as well. It's a dual shock, so it's a scooter that you will not find in South Africa. The same as the Honda Today, as you can see on that photo. The two in the back is the Dream scooters, and the one in the front is a Honda Today. The first one is a 50cc only, where the two in the back is 125 or 110 or 125 cc's. I just want to point out, now that you have zoomed into that photo, if you look at the scooter in the front, in the black one, the Dream with the little K in the front, you'll see there's 3 people sitting on that scooter. And in Cambodia, that is quite normal to find. 3 is not the highest amount of people that they can fit onto that scooter, just to be exact as well. But it's quite experience to see how the people make this their everyday living transport. In South Africa, you have a car as a everyday transportation, and in Phnom Penh, people rely on scooters. That's how they travel from A to B.
Yeah, no, that's true. I think in South Africa, the people will not be able to cope with this, but also it's because in South Africa, you have to travel quite a distance to get to businesses, where here, every street has got businesses. So there will always be a street where you can turn into, that you will find what you're looking for. So I think that's why it's effective here, and it won't be that effective in South Africa. And the highways we've got in South Africa is it's totally different.
I think something else that Elandi was mentioning, as much as what it is a natural occurrence every day to see 3 or 4 people on a motorcycle, if you note, the driver and the pillion have helmets, and the little kid in the front doesn't have helmets. It is almost, although it is illegal to ride without a helmet, it is almost a daily occurrence where you will find 2 people with a helmet, the kid's not got one, or both won't have helmets. You'll see that the guy on the Honda Today has a cap on, and the guy on the Dream at the back has just as a helmet on, and then the 3 on the Dream both have helmets, and the child doesn't. It's it's normal, Don't mess up my do. I'll drive without a helmet today.
Yeah, And then the other thing, when it comes to speed limits here, usually you don't see a lot of boards up. Generally in the city center, if you do find boards, they will say 40 kilometers an hour, and that is more or less the going speed in the city center. Obviously, over a weekend when the streets are quieter, you can go a bit faster, but generally the speed that the people drive here is about 40 kilometers an hour, between 40 and 50. I do not think it's as strict. I've never seen a actual speed camera here where they capture you for driving too fast. Yeah, so common occurrence here, speed limit 40 k's. Obviously, out in the rural areas or on open roads or the highways, it is a bit higher. But yeah, you will seldomly have an opportunity to drive faster than 40 k's an hour. I think general in-town driving, you do not get that opportunity to go much faster. And if you do, you have to slam your brakes rather severely to get to a standstill. And then, yeah, when it comes to cars here, there is a lot of cars. A lot of them is popular in South Africa as well. It's popular cars you do actually find in South Africa as well. And then I think we've discussed it before, where there is a lot of American influence here, and you can see that on the vehicles as well. You do get a lot of American-style vehicles when it comes to pickup trucks, especially. Where in South Africa you don't see much bigger than a Ford Ranger or a Toyota Hilux. Over here you'll see stuff like Toyota Tundra, the Toyota Tacoma. Yeah, the Lexus RXs, the LXs. So yeah, generally the Nissan Titan bucket or pickup that I know is also extremely big. So yeah, there is a lot of different types of vehicles that you actually do see here, mostly imported from elsewhere. So yeah, we'll see if we can put up a couple of pictures as well of the more impressive type of vehicles you actually do find.
Even those Porsches or those Ferraris are on these roads.
I just want to say as well.
Yeah, all the fancy cars is on the road. So no doubt there is people with money that stays in Cambodia.
The comparison in regards to people owning Lamborghinis, Porsches, Mustangs, in comparison to South Africa, you will most likely find a Mustang or a Chef Camaro or a Lamborghini or a Porsche in the roads here. Where in South Africa you'll see it, but not as often as. For me, taking the tuk-tuk, driving far distances every day, there is not a day that I do not see a Lamborghini or a GT or a Camaro, or I see some kind of sports car every single day, just to give them a wide range of knowledge of how often you do actually see these more expensive cars.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a daily occurrence to see something Rolls Royce, Bentleys, all of those types of things. And then, Niels, as you were saying, these trucks and pickups, they are so huge. It's large things. It's not anything small. I don't know, compensation for, yeah, let's carry on to the next photo. Okay, the one we're looking at now is just also, again, the vast difference in transport. Again, there's a whole lot of scooters that you can see on the left-hand side, and then you can see the bicycle. But I want to actually do a little zoom in onto this. That is a shop on wheels. And that's the person, unfortunately, I've got it from the other side. This is the bike side. And on the other side, there is a third wheel with a little counter and little glass cabinets with all the condiments. And as you can see, above, just in front of his head, these cool drinks and that. So you can actually stop this little car and either have your noodles fried for you or your baguette made with whatever goes in it, and buy a cool drink, etc., and off he goes. And as you can see at the back is a cooler box for the cool drinks. And it's no bizarre sight. It is an everyday major occurrence.
Yeah, they also have similar like this, but with the bike in the front, and then they have not a trailer, like a trailer, and then they'll have all sorts of clothing on there. And then you'll get one that is selling like brooms and plastic bowls and kitchenware that you can buy from these bikes on the street. So yes, you can stop them and you can buy from them. So it's quite a regular thing, like Andre says.
In SA, they stick to the robots and hold up the stuff over here. Over here, they've finished the robots. There's not enough robots. They put it on the bike and they drive around after you.
I just want you to zoom into the front a little bit on that photo. Sorry, I know it's. I just want to explain something as well. If you can zoom a little bit more.
To what?
Sorry.
Of the bike.
Yes, to the front of the bike. Yes. As you can see in the front, just up the wheel, there's it looks like sticks that is laying there where the mouse currently is. I don't know if you see what I'm talking about. That is sugar cane. So I just want to tell the people as well. Most of these bikes has got a little machine that actually allows them to press the juice and the sugar out of the raw sugar cane, and that is a local Cambodian drink that people buy next to the road. So it costs you 1,000 real, which is 25 cents compared to the dollar, and you actually get a full cup of these sugarcane juices. So they press it through a little machine that actually shoots out the juice in the bottom. So that's quite traditional Cambodian style. I don't think there's a lot of places elsewhere you will actually find this machine on the cart.
Yeah.
Fresh from the reed.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, and I'm still on the circle. That is just a very nice little pic of the motor. I'm actually trying to get a little bit of the statue in that in the picture there. One day when we show you some of the photos from Udong, wasn't wanting to pay too much attention there, but in Udong, this is also a very, very common figurine to come out, as well as the four faces. We'd have to do a little bit of look around. There's a more prominent, and we do have more pictures of the remorque tuk tuk. There's the one, and I'll probably show you a better one as well. Next is the tuk tuk that doesn't have an all-in-one. There we go. You were saying 3 is a normal occurrence, guys?
There's our little four family scooter ride.
And quite comfortably, everybody hangs on, and no problem at all. I just want to get to our next one, which shows there's, I don't know, Neil, so you can tell us a little bit more about these guys. I'm not too sure. They are basically sealed. I don't know what that says there. Tintin. Don't know what Tintin is, but these have got a little bit stronger bike on the front. They also sometimes have removable open backs, and this one's got a sealed back, which and so instead of having like delivery trucks and little delivery trucks, there are very, very few delivery trucks in South Africa, buckies. If you're from the States or from Australia, pickups or utes. These are what do your deliveries and your pickups and that. Am I correct in saying so? And they're a little bit stronger in the motor side in the front. I'm not too sure what the CC is on them.
Yeah, I think generally these vary between 250 and 500 cc's. So it's a slightly bigger engine, and also instead of the normal scooter just actually pulling it along, this engine actually puts out to a prop shaft and a differential. So it's actually got a differential on the rear wheels driving it. So similar to the three-wheelers or the tuk-tuks, the traditional tuk-tuks that you get, but it is a complete motorcycle front, and at the back you've got a cargo space. Also different setups. You get those little boxes. You get cooling boxes that actually has a refrigeration unit on that cools it down as well. You get open beds. You do get people carriers in those as well. Usually, the construction companies around here has a couple of the people carriers. It's got little bench seats in the back so that they can actually transport their staff from point A to point B. Yeah, so they're also not uncommon to actually see here on the roads. Actually, see businesses using that instead of the conventional pickup that you would use, or using a small truck for transporting your business's goods. You'll actually use one of those little trucks or motorcycles.
Yeah. Okay, this is a shop scenario, which we find in between everything. You can actually find a bit of a hotel or a normal shop, or if we take a look, there's actually, I think there's apartment buildings on the left-hand side there, guys. And yeah, the two boards over there, one says Angkor, which in Cambodia is pronounced Anchor, because you get another beer.
Sorry.
Another beer called Angkor. So Angkor and Angkor don't go well together, so it's now Anchor and Angkor. And the other one is, I think Nielsen and I quite enjoy, Old Gansberg. But yeah, it's like Coca-Cola. You have beer companies that sponsor all the little shops, and underneath there are little stores of, you know. The nice thing I like about these little stores is if you're in South Africa and you would go to a little store like that, or on the side of the road store, on a corner store, or something to that effect, you would find they would charge you more. You would pay a lot more for something. You know, it'd be like convenience. You know, we're a one-man band. You're paying 50 cents or R1 more in South Africa. On these little stores, you would usually find that they are the same, if not less or cheaper, in supermarkets as well. And the beers, believe it or not, have little pool cans, and underneath the pool cans are usually a free beer. Some of them just say thank you, but otherwise some say a free beer, some say 6 free beers, some will give you $1 or $2, and most supermarkets won't take them. But you can go to these little places and exchange them for a free beer, or 6 free beers, or your rand. We're still hoping to win the car as well. Apparently, there's one of them under those caps too. But I mean, you had the experience the other day, Lundy. What did you hand in? A couple of caps and a few packets of cigarettes. You got a cigarette hand in as well. What did you get out there?
So there's a store in Cambodia. They have some kind of contract or agreement with Winston. I think a lot of people in South Africa knows Winston as well. So you give them 3 empty boxes and they replace it with 1 full box. And the same with the beer. Most of the Khmer little shops next to the roads, if you give a free cap, you pay 500 real, which is equal to 10 cents, plus minus 12 cents 50 to be exact. So it's basically nothing. It's basically free. So you give just a small little something to say thank you for using this. And the other place, that the one we use, they do not charge you. They charge you 100 real, which is basically nothing. I'm not even going to do the calculation. It's not even 2 cents for 2.5 cents. It's nothing. So, but I think we got 56 beers in total, meaning 2 cases and 8 beers which were loose. We got a carton of cigarettes, and we paid in total $2 for it. So in rand, that equals 56 cans of beer, a carton of cigarettes for a full 30 rand. So just in comparison to South African money, which is insanely cool. So you do have perks in Cambodia as well.
Yeah, no. And as I say, the little places, it's really great that they don't rip you off.
Yeah, it's nice to support them.
There's just a quick one, a picture of a chemist. So you know what, the Dischem and the Clicks and the, I don't know what other chemists or whatever, you do get chemists that are like that, glass covered. But I mean, you can also, that little green cross there is a pharmacy, as you can see. And you can have pharmacies as simple as opening a garage door and having a counter there. That picture there again, I'm going to try and zoom to it a bit, but I don't want to zoom too much because I'm going to leave things out there. This is a chemist, and there you can see it's on the right-hand side. You can see there's parking area in front of the chemist, and it's a glass building. And then to the left a bit, you will see that there is a little coffee stand, and then there is a cellular store. And I don't think
here is an example of the cell phone, the Oppo cell phone, which is similar to a smartphone. It's the phone that they sell at these stores.
Yeah, it's Oppo's a brand, yeah, of phone as such. But yeah, just take a look at those counters, though, guys. What do you think about them counters? You wouldn't put a counter in South Africa on the street with phones in them like that.
No. It's a no.
And as Ilandi was saying, Oppo, Reno 4 is the name, but Oppo is a very, very popular brand of cell phone. And then next to the cell phone, there's, I think it's Money Exchange. And next to Money Exchange is an office equipment. We do have pretty smart buildings as well. As you can see, the peninsula, I think it's a office block or a set of offices in that there, which is all very neat and tidy. I don't know if I need to zoom into anything there, but yes, it is a very, very smart place. So yes, you do have the smart places as well. And out on that one, there's my favorite little shopping supermarket. Unfortunately, I got to take it late because a car was in the way. A lot of ads. And it actually goes deep, and it's very, very nice. Very clean and tidy, air-conditioned inside, everything. It's just, you know what, people don't have the money to spend on overheads as much over here. Printing house, that's a printing shop. Printing shops are usually open. I don't know if we can see it there. Yeah, it's a printing shop. Also, you know what? It looks nice. I think that one's behind glass doors, but no huge amount of money on overheads. I think it's a little restaurant, guys.
Yes.
And a little coffee shop. Something else. Once again, motos all over the place. There you can buy your chicken and that there from the counter. And then you also have massive buildings just popping up in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there I think is I don't know. It looks like a restaurant where that car is parked. And those are the apartments. So those are the 3 massive apartments. There it is again, the greatly known Tuk. Guys, please jump in if there's anything you want to say while I'm just finishing off. Entrance for the apartments. And there is the, I don't know if you want to discuss that one a little bit. That's what the remorque is, and that's what I was waiting for to get there. Niels, you were telling us about that. And I think there's, what's this? There's a bottle of water there.
Okay, so
That's a pants, Andre. That's a pants.
Okay, what's this?
Okay.
Bottle of water. No, not the cool drink hanging there either.
yeah, the water bottle that you'll see on most of these little scooters. So these scooters are conventional motorcycles, 125cc, which is air cooled, and obviously with the extra load these scooters are carrying with that little trailer in the back. This is a people carrier, and the other ones as well. They have a 20-liter can of water, which is filled up, and then actually they put on a line, the same, or a pipe, the same as a intravenous drip, and they can actually open and close it, so they can control water flow, and that water flow runs over the engine. So it's just a pressure feed of water, which they run over the engine to help it cool the engine because of the heat here, essentially, and the heavier load that engine is exposed to in comparison to just driving a normal 125cc scooter, one or two people on it at most. Yeah, so they add those cans of water for a cooling system for the bike. I'm not sure how effective it is, but judging by how they do it, I think it's got some degree of effectiveness to it. So yeah, it's an improvised plan, but I do think it works for them. Not everybody wouldn't have done it if it wasn't effective. So is a bad idea really a bad idea if it works? I don't think so. So for the most part, yeah, that is the motorcycle's cooling system.
Something else I just want to actually zoom into, Niels, you were talking about it earlier on as well. You were talking about the bolt that actually they put a mount on the back of the bike. I think you can see it a little bit more clearly over there. You were talking about the mounting that they put on that on the cycle for, and this is the same bike that they use to draw the removal or the trailers and that as well. It's just that this one has people trailer. And I think that's the mount that we were talking about. Yes, go for it.
Sorry. Yeah, generally, I think what I could have picked up on it is that that is actually assembled from old car parts. So they'll have a steel bracket and they'll have a universal joint with a stub axle added to it. And on the stub axle, they'll use an actual old wheel bearing going onto that, and then a castle nut securing the trailer to the motorcycle like that.
Okay, and as we can see, this is what they call a remorque. We also just listed under the name of tuk-tuk, but it takes 4 people. It's a little bit bigger, so when you're more people, 4 or 5 people, you'd be able to use this a little bit easier. The small tuk-tuk only takes 2 in the back. We have tested what we call a Maxima tuk-tuk, which is a little bit bigger. It's the smaller one. It takes 3 of us, and then this one takes the 4. So the entrance, as you can see, COVID has crawled in everywhere, or should I say COVID cautiousness. Even the reception at the building has plastics and that all over the place. Just a little bit of an entrance. And yeah, to the escalators. Market. I don't know if we want to maybe leave market for next week, because otherwise we're just going to rush through market. Ilandi?
Yes, I think we can discuss that next week because there's a lot of different things that we can show the people in regards to markets, how it works, and what you can buy at the local markets.
Yeah, I think we're going to leave you on that, and we'll go through market photos and that, because there's so much to tell about markets, and they're such wonderful, exciting places to be and to walk around. But I see that we've been on 1 hour and 10 already. So all I want to say is hang in there for next week. Next week, we're all going to do a little bit of homework on Chumben, and to tell you about what holiday that is. And it is a religious holiday. It's one of the biggest religious holidays in Cambodia. And we'd like to tell you a little bit more about it and give you a little bit more info about it. We are so looking forward to it. because we have 3 weekdays off because of it.
Holiday.
But yeah, I don't know if you guys have anything to wrap up with at all.
No, I think we're all good. Thank you again, guys, for having us, and sorry again for that delays in the beginning of our live. But as everyone watching this video can see, we are all human, and everywhere in the world we have the same struggle. So make the best of it.
Yeah, no, it's. I think you sometimes have some lags in the internet here, but I don't think we can compare ourselves with what's going on in SA with the load shedding.
Yeah.
So we're still very fortunate.
We don't have rolling blackouts.
Internet and data is cheap in Cambodia.
Okay, well, from my side, Andre, Ina, take care.
Bye, guys. See you next time. Be good.
Bye.
Bye.